Welcome back to Recovery in the Morning. Today we're going to be joined by two very special guests, Dave T. with 36 years and Jeanette V. with 33 years. They're going to be talking about the importance of sponsorship.
I'm Jeanette V. I have been sober since May 31st of 1992.
Dave T. I've been clean since May 29th, 1989. That's good.
Yeah, right.
So I guess the topic we're going to talk about a little is on sponsorship and it's important to us
The newcomer.
and the newcomer.
Yeah.
What part it played in our recovery.
For me, sponsorship, I know it became really important, and after I relapsed 8 different times, doing it on my own, I finally took some suggestions, and they told me, you need to get a sponsor. You can't do this by yourself. And so I finally got a sponsor, and here I am. But how important it is to have a sponsor, and for me to have a sponsor too, for I can get more information to help the newcomer, because I can't help the newcomer if I'm not, getting new stuff, because it's really weird. I've been here for a long time, but each time I read it, I get something new.
Isn't that true? Isn't that
yeah.
so true?
Yeah,
Our perspective changes with time
right.
and we pick up new things. My experience was I did the same thing you did. I tried it on myself, and I had a college education. I read the book. I got straight A's in college, so let's go back.
Right.
I was
Right.
one of those what I thought, oh, I'm an intellectual, I can figure this out. I took, chemistry, I took biology, I took microbiology,
Yeah.
and I took so many classes, and I got straight A's, and so I said, well, this little book, it's not that hard, It's,
Figure it out.
but what happened was I had trouble making heads or tails out of it, right? And I was in, and I sort of had that pink cloud experience for about 6 months. And I like to refer to the pink cloud as basically the grace of God. I think I was talking about the grace of God, and I had been watching people very closely in the program, because the way I figured it when I walked into the program, I saw a bunch of people that I thought were low life, ignorant, right? Of course, my character defect of judging came out immediatly, and
Right.
it's what are these people going to teach me, right? And I saw people who were scamming right away. I mean, you know how we are.
Yeah.
We check out the scammers who's jiving and conniving. But I saw this one guy, and I noticed that he had always came to me, and when he came and talked to me, he really cared about me. He'd ask me, "How you doing, Dave?" No, really. How you doing, man? And I noticed that guys that were hanging around with him were getting clean, and their eyes were changing, right? And they were getting smiles on their face. They were getting jobs.
Yeah.
The scabs were going away,
Yeah.
right? They didn't have all
Yeah.
the
They're
stuff.
marks.
Yeah, and so I kept an eye on him for a long time. For all those 6 months, I watched him, and I finally got to the point where I just felt inside something's going to break. The hammer's coming down. You know the feeling.
Yeah.
Boom! The hammer's going to come. Something's going to blow. and I asked him to be my sponsor. And when I asked him to be my sponsor, he had 3 questions for me. He said, "Do you really want to quit for good, for all?" And I said yes. And he asked me if I was willing to go to any length. And I thought, well, wait a minute. I don't know what this guy's up to, right? And he clarified that a little bit more by saying, are you willing to do everything that I do to stay clean? And I said, yes. And can you follow some simple direction? I'm a college graduate.
Of course
I
I
can.
can.
And then we made a commitment that we would meet 2 hours once a week. It was my time. And if I wasn't going to be there, I needed to call ahead of time, like hours ahead of time. Otherwise, within 5 minutes, he'd be gone. So I ended up having to have some discipline. I made the agreement and we started doing it. I think that's part of, for newcomers, having that commitment and being disciplined.
Kind of shows if you're willing
To
to.
follow through,
Yeah.
right? Actually, persistence often is successful just as a result of being persistent over and over. Think about Edison and his, think about Edison and his persistence to come up with the light bulb.
Yeah. So true.
And that process that we went through radically changed my life. Being able to share that process with another. I mean, we talked about he's not a counselor, although he was. Okay, he was. He became. He got his master's degree in counseling. I wasn't like him. He was a 3-time loser in prison. I didn't go to prison, but we had this connection, right? And I knew he cared about me. I knew he really cared about me. We developed this relationship of trust. I continued to go through the steps with him, and he told me that he basically gave me the 4 paradoxes.
Yeah.
The one about where you had to give it away in order to keep it.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as that was ready, I started sponsoring other people. I think in the program, the elders in the program that have been there for a while tend to be the heartbeat, and this is what I say, of the program. They have the experience, and but without the new people, what I call the new blood.
Yeah.
Well, the
We
heart
don't
doesn't
grow.
work. We know the heart doesn't work unless it has blood.
Right.
No blood,
Yeah.
the heart's gonna die.
Right.
Simple as it is.
Right.
So they working together, just like all the pieces of the body work together for the good. So
I think I was kind of the opposite when I first got there. I thought everybody was better than I was because I thought they were doctors, lawyers, police officers. That they were
Isn't that
older
interesting?
and I was a junkie from the street, and I was like, man, these people are too put together for me. They're not going to understand where I came from. What can I get from these people? They're not going to want any. What can I add?
right.
And so I always thought I was lesser than. And so Mary Jane came up to me.
Oh, I remember her. Oh, yes.
Mary Jane came up to me and she said, she's passed now.
Yeah.
She came up to me and same thing with you. And she said, how are you doing? And I said, I'm good. She goes, no, how are you really doing?
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. And I said, not very good. I wasn't going to stay.
Oh, you got on this.
And she said, well, let's go talk. She took me outside and sat down and talked to me. And she treated me like I was
Human
on equal
being.
ground.
Right.
I felt like I was on equal ground. And that day I felt welcomed.
Yeah.
And she helped change my life. She ended up being my sponsor because I watched her for a while and I wanted what she had.
Exactly. I agree.
Yeah, so that it was.
And
So
I think,
we're total opposites, but the same thing happened.
and I think that's one of the very important principles in the relationship between a sponsor and a sponsee, is that the sponsor is not better than. Okay, this is an equal relationship where I'm sharing my experience, strength, and hope
Exactly.
with you, and you're sharing yours with me. Because oftentimes, when I think back on it, I have been in a weird space and struggling in my
Right.
recovery, right? And lo and behold, God will place somebody like Bing, and want me to sponsor them. And you know what?
So true.
Totally gets me out of me, and I realize that that person is there for me to learn something from them, because God's going to speak through them directly to some issue that I have.
Right.
And one of the things that I do with sponsees is that before we even start, we always say a prayer, because
Yeah.
I want to bring the third person into this relationship, because I never really know what I'm going to say
Or do.
when we're working the steps, and
Yeah.
I never really know what's going to come out of their mouth that's going to enlighten me, just so that I can see what I need to see.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah.
what I tell the women that I work with do. It's not about me helping you. It's about us helping each other. And I think the one thing is that if we're on common ground, we can help each other.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't know so many times. I think they've helped me more than
Oh yeah,
they've
Isn't
helped
that
me more
true?
than I've helped them.
Isn't that true?
Yes.
And afterwards,
Yeah.
we're like, thank you, God.
Yeah,
Thank you, God, I
right?
needed that.
Yeah, so true. Um, the other thing, like you were saying about not being a doctor or counselor, and
Banker.
yeah, at first I
Right.
was like, okay, I'm a sponsor now. People were telling me you can't get a relationship. Women work with women, and men work with men, and if you go to the sponsorship pamphlet,
Mm-hmm.
it tells you exactly. I am not a banker. I'm not a counselor. I'm not a relationship counselor.
Especially.
Yeah, and I definitely am not a drug and alcohol counselor, because I'm not. I'm here to guide you through the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, and we will get the program together.
Yeah, you're gonna do what it says.
Yeah.
I think the way my sponsor pointed it out to me is, he said, "Read the black shit." Okay.
Yeah. Right.
And just follow. That's why he asked me, "Can you follow some simple directions?"
Yep.
And I think for new people, like, even because I had a college education, but when I read the book, I my disease kept me from seeing what was there. You can't see until you can see.
See, you can't
And-
hear till you can hear.
And the way, I kind of describe it is, I went up in the mountains the other day, and I took a hike on a really steep slope for about 2 miles, and then I was out gathering crystal on a 45-degree slope,
Wow.
crawling into a hole in the ground with a pick to find these crystals, right? I've never done it before. I had no idea how to go about doing it. But I had a friend who helped me and kind of led the way and showed me the path and kind of explained to me what to look out for, the dangers in the process, because they've done it before. And lo and behold, I've got these crystals that I've gained, right, as a result of it, right?
Right.
So a sponsor, I think, often kind of helps the newcomer by sharing his experience, strength, and hope. Even the what I would say are the booby traps that
Yeah.
that are there, are,
Right.
and just helps us along the path. And sometimes I think people think the path is the power, but the path is not the power. The path is just to get you on the right track
Track.
for the power
Yeah.
to take over.
Yeah.
And so sponsorship is key in
It is.
recovery. I can't see, the way I describe it is, I can't see when I'm in the belly of the beast, and I need somebody else that has a different perspective.
Right.
Because if you think about it, when we came into recovery, we had a certain perspective, and I had all these life skills that were very dysfunctional. And through a process of sharing, I heard about different life skills, different principles,
Right.
that if I utilized those spiritual principles, my life would get better. And it did. but I wouldn't have like really taken it into effect, I guess, unless I was getting that different perspective. Um,
Definitely.
there's a vibration that goes on in the room, a spiritual vibration, and when you get people that are really in recovery, there's a spiritual vibration that goes out, and those people that are still struggling at a different vibrational rate pick it up, and you can. I mean, it's just physics. You can take a tuning fork that's tuned at C, and you can have a bunch of other ones. And if you hit that tuning fork at C, those other ones will start to vibrate. And I think,
That's the way we are.
that's kind of like what happens with us on a spiritual level.
Yep.
For
Doing now.
newcomers, what I would say is this: go to meetings.
Right.
Try to leave your judge hat behind when you go in, and listen. Look for somebody that has done the steps, or at least look for somebody that you can relate to. Make a commitment, and be persistent and determined to maintain it. If there's somebody you hear, talk to them. If you hear something that like resonates with you, it resonates to your core, go talk to them, because there's probably more that you can receive from them. And the reason I say that is because even if they're an old timer, you never know. You may be the one that's saving their life.
Yes.
Because you never really know what they're going through too,
Yeah.
right? They may be walking, even though they're have a lot of time. They may be walking through what I call a dark
Life on
valley.
life's terms. Yeah.
They may be walking through the valley of the desert.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're the fresh water that comes and sparks them up again. Because I tell you, over and over, I've had times where somebody, has asked me, and it sparked my enthusiasm all over again. I love being present when they're getting it, and I can see it in their eyes. They're
Yeah.
actually
Big
getting
old
it.
ding.
Ding, lights turn on. And
Yeah.
That's invigorating to me. That's invigorating to me.
And the one thing that, too, is that if you are working with somebody, because I've had a lot of women, that I've worked with, and some of them, like, just disappear, And the other thing is that I would, like, at first I took it to heart, like I did something wrong. But I always have to remember that I'm not going to help everybody. But as long as I take care of my recovery and what I'm doing in my life every day, I have to remind myself I have to do that every day, then I can help others along the way.
I've kind of looked at it like, I guess, love. And I break it down like this: let others voluntarily evolve. I can't make anybody drink, and I can't make anybody
Get
stop.
sober.
I can share my experience, strength, and hope. And it's up to them
Exactly.
to get on. So I know you said something that kind of clicked, but I don't know. It just kind of, sometimes those people, I believe, come into our lives and they leave. And I don't know, this is kind of a weird belief, but I believe they come into our lives actually to save us. We just don't know it.
Right. Right.
Isn't that weird? I mean,
Yeah.
so I've taken it as, well, they came in and boosted me up, right? And gave me the impetus to move forward in recovery. Because if you're not growing, you're going.
Right.
Right?
That's
Isn't
what I'm
that so
saying.
true?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and just because they're gone doesn't mean that whatever effect they had on me didn't carry me through something that I might not have made it through. So,
Even if even if they're gone, it doesn't mean that they've relapsed or
right,
done
right.
that. And I would, that was the first thing I always thought, went to my head. Um, but it's like, if they needed to move on, that's okay too.
Yeah,
If they needed to get something different.
yeah. There's always that opportunity if they need, and I let people know if you feel like you need other help too, that's okay. I'm
Yes,
not.
definitely.
That's all right. Um, so, working with men working with women working with women, men working with women working with men.
Right.
There's pitfalls in that, but I think I'm not against it. I think that it kind of depends on where you're at in your recovery. Um, so
I don't think I would have stayed sober if I was just working with women, because a lot of people that I know are mostly men,
right,
and so they've been a big part of my recovery, and I think I that part in my life, I've always got along with men better than women anyway.
yeah, yeah.
But in a
Women
good
can't
way.
even get
No,
along with women, right? It's they
in a
expect
good
us not to get
way.
along with them, right?
No, in a good way.
I've seen that in the recovery houses. Listen to the women who talk about the other women. I think, oh, the women can't even get along with the women. How do they expect us men to get along with them? So I need to be careful there. So I don't want to seem misogynist in
I
any way,
think
shape,
we'll
or form.
cut that out.
But when it comes to women, they're really really important. I believe it's really important to have women that you can talk to, because a woman's perspective is completely different than a man's, and
Exactly.
a man's brain is completely different than a woman.
Believe me.
Okay, you're talking about two different kinds of brains, and with the
We think different.
sponsorship, perspective is extremely important. That's one of the things that helped me in my recovery early. Is I remember coming to my sponsor and being really angry about a situation at work that I felt was unjust, and just and he looked at me and he quoted Bruce Lee, and he told me to stop fighting, to uh, study the art of fighting without fighting.
Oh my
And
God.
I practiced martial arts for years, so I was like, what does this guy know about Bruce Lee? In fact, I actually trained with one of his students, right? So I was like, but you know what? He was right, and it was a matter of perspective. That's what becomes extremely important in sponsors and sponsees, is this matter of perspective,
Yeah.
because that is part of my disease process, right? Uh, I encourage women to be compassionate, men to be compassionate, caring about others, treat them with love and kindness, and uh, and respect.
Yeah. My
And
sponsor
respect.
told me never deny anybody a sponsor. And I said, what do you mean? She said, one day that person
Man.
might have to save your life.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I was like, ah. And it's
Yes.
been so true.
Yeah.
It's been so true.
Yeah. As I've gone through recovery, I've noticed that I've cycled. I think, which is kind of weird. I think when I look back, there's been, I think it's about 5 years where I cycled through this phase of recovery, and it's gotten deeper and deeper each time. Um, so it almost kind of corresponds to, how do I say, the seasons.
The
There's
life,
a
yeah.
spring, there's a summer, there's a fall, and there's a winter. And recognizing that has really helped me get through some winters when I felt like, oh man, this just ain't working. But then I realized the pendulum swings and the cycle begins again.
Right.
And that's where it's really important, where you have those relationships with others, because sometimes those relationships, your sponsor may help carry you through, or your conversely, your
Or your
sponsee
sponsees.
is carrying
Yeah.
you through.
Right.
So
Yeah.
what else? What else can we? Is there anything that we might want to add to this?
It was good.
Okay, make a commitment. Be persistent. Be
Yes.
determined. You know.
I like when you were talking about when you make the times to meet.
Yes.
I have had so
That's the
many
commitment.
people that have, yeah, commitment. And that means a time. If we pick a time, call me if you're not going to be there. How many times I've showed up and but I guess if I just keep going, there's a lot of times that I've been there and waiting, and I end up working with someone else. So it all
Interesting.
works out. Just be there, make a commitment.
I like to have people write their recovery date in the book and make a commitment to that.
Yeah,
Not everybody does, but it's just another, like, I'm signing a contract.
right.
You know what I mean? I like to get them to sort of like sign a contract without them really knowing that, hey, you're signing a contract here. That's what you're doing.
Right, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, and I guess everybody has their own things that
Little
they,
things they do.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So using the book in writing, take notes.
Yep.
So like if you look at my book, it's got I actually brought it. It's got a fair amount of writing in it. So
Everything's outlined. Yep.
yeah, highlighted things,
Yeah.
going all the way through. And the reason I do that is because over a period of time, what I found out is that
It
yeah,
clicks.
it clicks. Not only that, when you go back, like you were talking about, it's like me digging in there in the cave and finding
Yeah.
another quartz and like getting
Yeah.
all excited.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in the same cave and finding more.
Right.
I'm reading the same book and getting more treasure
Something
out of
different.
it each time. And it's interesting how God reveals, the whole chapter, God will reveal more.
Yep.
And we realize we know only a little.
Yeah.
So one of the things I do with my sponsees is I make sure that they have solid pillars. They have God, the relationship with God.
Yeah.
They're going to meetings. They have a sponsor, a sponsee. Okay. They're into service work.
Yes.
They're doing the steps. And I've sort of named that the 5 pillars. And when I ask one of my sponsees, where are you at in the 5 pillars, they can go through their head and tell me where
Which one they're at.
they're too low. Okay, I'm not praying enough. I'm not really focused on my relationship with God. I'm not going to meetings. Or if they're overloaded in one area like service and they're spending too much time in service and not spending time doing the steps or with working with sponsees. So balance is extremely important.
Yeah.
Because when I was out running and gunning, I had no balance. I was extreme one way,
Crazy.
extreme the other way. There was no peace, no balance,
Yeah.
no harmony. And I think that's one of the things that, working this program has developed, gives us that sense of peace and harmony, even in
Teaches
the
that
storm.
in our own family lives too.
In our own family lives, yeah.
Yep.
Speaking of family life,
I know, me too.
I've got a girl I got to pick up.